Hello again, everybody. Welcome to OCVarsity.com. I'm Steve Fryer here with the colleagues Carlos Arias and Dan Albano, here to talk about this week in football. We got some great games coming up. Unfortunately, we got to kind of start with a tough story, about the kid at Garden Grove High School, Kevin Tellis, passed away, at the hospital after he was taken to a hospital after collapsing during the final moments of a game against Westminster over Westminster High. We got the viewing, the funeral coming up this week. I think there's been some talk among ourselves and probably among a lot of folks out there about, do you play this game Thursday against Woodbridge? My opinion is you got to play the game. What would he want? What would he want his teammates to do and everybody to do? He'd want them to go out and play, and he'd want them to go out there and give it their best. That's what he wants. And as a memorial to the young man, guys, I think that's what you got to do. You got to let him play. You got to get back on that treadmill of life. Life goes on, life's for the living, and knowing what little I know about this kid, the great character he was a leader on this team. The guy was a heck of a player. He's going to want his fellas to go out there and give it their all and win. What do you think?
Concur completely. Yeah. I think I've talked to a couple of the Garden Grove players, talked to Noe Guerrero, Alex Bird, and they're really set on carrying on the legacy of Kevin Tellis, a really inspirational, strong senior leader, great outside linebacker. So they're very committed, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to be really going to play for the memory of Kevin, and they're going to try to win a lot of games for him.
Carlos is a guy who's played sports and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if you ever had to deal with things like this.
Yeah.
But what's going to be the mindset of those young people as they head out there in that field? How's it going to go for them?
Well, your heart's heavy. You're thinking about your former teammate, but at the same time, when the game starts, you know what kind of kid this guy was, and he would want you to go out there and just play your hardest and give everything, and it's a way to let some of those emotions out too. I mean, you can just take it out on the field and give it your all.
Yeah.
But man, what a sad situation.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. It's going to be very interesting to see how those kids react on Thursday, and that's going to be an interesting game. Garden Grove, Woodbridge, and some other some really good football games going on. Outside of that very interesting story there, we've got a very good football game going on with Edison at Dana Hills. Dana's come out of the chute pretty strong, guys. Edison looks good as advertised. Myself, I think that Edison looks like close to being a sort of a 10-0 team, although they got to play Servite and Mater Dei.
They got to play the Sunset League.
And they got to play in the Sunset League. Los Al's pretty good, as we all know, and Fountain Valley's good, and Esperanza, seems to be coming out of it. But I think Edison wins by a couple touchdowns, fellas.
I think it's a big test, for Dana Hills. I mean, the thing I've been asking myself this week, is Dana Hills top 10 material. They've come out of the blocks very strong. Nice victory against El Toro. Nice victory against Santa Margarita. Josh Dean, quarterback's playing really well, completing 62% of his passes. That's great. Chris Kearney, good receiver from Dana Hills. But on the other side, I got Edison number 2 in the county. Great defense. They've been playing really well against Artesia, Long Beach, Wilson, and they've been running the ball pretty well with Wade Houston. So I think this is a good test to see really how good both teams are.
Carlos, you and I saw Dana. What do you know about Dana?
Yeah, you know what? I was really excited to see Dana before the season because I did that league preview, talked to the coach, and he was saying that these guys are for real. We went and saw them, and they are for real.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Edison's got games against big boys, Mater Dei's, Servite. You can't overlook Dana Hills. This is one of those games where you're like, hey, they're supposed to beat Dana Hills, but Dana Hill's no joke.
Yeah,
so
they're good.
It could be very
we call
dangerous.
this a trap game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this might be one of them. Another one that's on the schedule that's kind of interesting. It's, an LA County team versus an Orange County team. It's La Habra playing South Hills.
Yeah.
South Hills traditionally always good, South Hills of Covina. And they're number 2 in the Southeast Division. That's going to be a good ball game. I mean, I don't know who they've got, but they're 1-0, and we know La Habra is really good with Josh Casada. Myself and the rest of it, we keep talking about the running backs, Anthony Wilkerson.
How about that quarterback? What he did for La Habra last week? I mean,
Cody Clement.
He had big shoes to fill with Niagara, and he comes in and does a great job. So I mean, that looks good for La Habra.
This is a good little rivalry because they've been playing for the last couple of years. This is a good rivalry. Last year, as good as La Habra was, They won this game, I think it was 22-13. So this could be a tight game. South Hill's coming off a 21-3 victory over Ayala. So they played some great defense in their opener. So yeah, I think this is a good game for La Habra. And of course, they got those big games coming up with Los Al and San Clemente.
Yeah.
Friday, we got a couple good ones. One of the ones that we're going to be very interested in watching, of course, is number 4 Orange Lutheran at Orange Coast College. Home again. That's a home game for them against Tustin. Tustin doesn't have Anthony Wilkerson. He's hurt. He pulled a hamstring in that win against Foothill. Coach Miller says, he's not going to practice this week. I'm not going to have a guy who hasn't practiced playing this game. If it's a playoff game or something like that, or league title on the line, Anthony plays, but he's not going to play in this one because he's going to hold him out. This game really doesn't matter much. I still think that that Tustin's got some pretty good ammo there, but I don't know. I think this evens the board. I was going to pick Tustin before that.
It's no shot. It's over.
Really?
Olu's winning this. No Wilkerson. Forget it.
Anthony is a huge loss. I mean, this guy is setting the bar so high. Tough that he's not going to be able to play, but it's great that you got to keep this guy healthy for Tustin. But I think Tustin's got the defense and the speed on defense this year to keep this game close, and if not even to win this game, because they do have some depth at running back. You got Wade Minshaw, fullback AJ Rafter. Look for him maybe.
Right.
How about Avery Lynch? I mean, they've got some guys.
Wait a minute. Olu went to Ohio, lost the game, looked horrible. They're going to come back, and they're going to be out for blood. Forget it.
And this game was 10 last year, Orange Lutheran won 10-0. And I think Tustin's got a better defense this year.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. We've got that going on this week. We've got, Crespi's playing Servite. Mater Dei's got to play Centennial Corona. A lot of good football games.
Trabuco Hill's going down to San Clemente.
That's a great game.
Is an interesting game, too. Yeah. We have previews of all that stuff and coverage of everything going on, water polo, girls tennis, girls volleyball, you name it. We've got it here at OCVarsity.com where we've got you covered.